Hi, ako po si Joey Ayala. I graduated the year that Atenews became a university. I believe it is 1978. Pero yung diploma ko, 83 ang nakalagay kasi late ko na nakuha eh. Dahil meron ako incomplete sa ROTC.
How was the community during your time?
During my time, when I was in school, that's what you mean by my time. Right? when I was here, my community was extremely active. We were in ferment. We were always imagining projects. We were always laughing, going to the beach. We were always doing crazy things on campus. Para kami obligadong manggulo. Parang ganun. That's my impression of my community. My impression of the others was masyadong kudrado ang buhay. Feeling ko lang, conservative masyado. Feeling ko. Hindi ko alam kung totoo yun. Pero yun yung impression ko of the other students. Napaka-conservative.
Describe your Atenews experience in one sentence.
My Atenews experience was very liberating. Period. One sentence.
What is your message to the current Atenews batch and the next batches?
Be aware of what you're thinking. Always ask, are these really my thoughts? Or am I just thinking the way other people want me to think? Very important. Question authority, question standards, question. Look for alternatives.
What is your message to the Ateneo community?
Question yourself, question authority, question what you're thinking, question the purpose of your education. Question. Don't just accept. Why are you in school? To get a good job? No such thing as a good job. If you want a stable job, work with horses. Stable. Get it? It's a joke. Tanong ng tanong. Huwag kayo mag-assume na ito na yun. Don't assume that this is gonna make you successful. You probably won't. Maybe you become a successful robot. You do somebody else's work for somebody else's dream. If you don't have your own dream, you will be helping somebody else. Which is not a bad thing. If you don't have a dream, surrender mo na lang ang buhay mo sa tao na may magandang vision. Help that person. Pero it's better if you see your own. Better kasi mas buo ang loob mong sumunod dyan. Pag nakikisama ka lang, hindi ka buo, kulang, alanganin. Pero kung wala talaga, hindi mo talaga alam para saan yung buhay mo, maghanap ka ng magandang ibang tao na may magandang iniisip, tulungan mo na lang siya. Pero mas maganda kung ikaw, sarili mo, meron kang makitang maganda, abulin mo.
Balik na tayo sa part na yung personal na questions. When did you start writing articles?
I started writing probably high school. Ateneo de Manila pa ako. Poetry. Yun yung simula, poetry, tsaka short stories. Because that's what both my parents were doing in the 60s. Tapos yung mga karak ko, pinupulot ng nanay, pinapadala niya sa mga national magazines, napapublish naman. So I started getting little paychecks from magazines. At yun yung mga una kong ginastos pambili ng musical instruments.
How does it feel like growing in a family of artists?
Well, for me, it's normal. I don't know what it's like for others. Ganun naman eh, di ba? Kung ano yung normal sa'yo, normal yan. Kahit binubugbog ka araw-araw, normal yun sa'yo, di ba? So,
when did you start writing songs?
my first song, I think I was in third year high school. An imaginary, I was imagining waking up beside a naked woman. Although wala pa akong girlfriend nun. Imaginary nga eh.
How have you changed since your Atenews years?
How have I changed? I've gotten older. How have I changed? Ano yan eh, it feels like, I don't feel like I've changed much. I'm still basically the same person. Mas marami na ako impormasyon by this time. Marami na ako experience, but I'm still the same person. I don't feel much different.
How is writing for journalism and writing for music different and same?
Journalism and music? Well, journalism is facts. Music is more propagandistic. than journalism. Although all journalism is propaganda, you're propagating a certain worldview. In music, in songwriting, you're propagandizing for your own personal perspective. So they're both propaganda, but songwriting is more personal.
What do you think about the youth today?
I think they're young. The youth is young. Ang youth, pareho lang naman. I don't think there's much of a difference. The difference is in the broadness of options available to the youth today. I think it can be a very confusing world because there are so many options, and all these options are accessible through electronic devices, internet. Pwede ka magnegosyo sa internet, pwede kang freelancer. You can go on Odesk and get jobs designing stuff without leaving your room. It's something that was unthinkable in my youth. So I think that's the great challenge to young people. Is what do you do with all this power that's at your fingertips? So you might not even be aware that that's power, but it's power.
What do you think about activism?
Activism? What do you mean by activism?
Yung broad na understanding ng people.
Which is
yung nagrarara sa streets.
nagrarara. Ano nga sa kanya, can you please focus the camera on her? I don't want to be taken out of context. Kasi lahat naman ng tao, aktivista eh. Everybody is promoting their own point of view, even if it's not their own. Akala mo lang, yun yung iyo. It might be your parents' point of view that you're living out. Like, study well, get a good job. That might not be yours, but you think it's yours because that's what is programmed in you. So everybody is an activist in that sense. Na you're acting on the programs that are controlling you. Yung sinasabi mong aktivistang rara, I'm not sure, but it might be obsolete. Kasi, lalo na sa Maynila, magrara ka, millions of pesos of diesel fuel and gasoline wasted because of what you did. Traffic eh. Tapos, ang mensahe mo lumabas pa, baka hindi. Kasi sinusuppress naman yung media. So, what's the point? Hanap ng iba. I think there are new ways and better ways to do rara. Social media, actually doing projects not in protest, but propose alternatives. Example, GK, for example. Gawad Kalinga, imbis na magrara about poverty and homelessness, gumawa ng bahay. Hindi mas effective yun. Yung gumawa ng actual.
Sir, let's talk about your songs. Why did you write Agila?
Because I met the eagle, and I wrote Agila because I met the eagle, and I wanted to spread the concept that the eagle is not just an animal, but it's also the forest. It's also part of what human beings depend on. Yung bigger picture centered around the eagle. Yun yung feeling ko.
Was there a particular eagle at that time na got shot?
Yung na-meet ko, yung nakakulong doon sa, I think it was in Barakatan at that time, wala pa sa Malabos. Eagle Center, the early days.
How about Karaniwang Tao?
Karaniwang Tao originally was a song na anti-US bases. Kasi ang konsepto ng awit is, nandyan ang US bases, malamang may nuclear arms dyan. At kung tirahin yan ng kalaban ng US, damay tayo. Yun yung konsepto. Kaya ayoko ng base dito kasi it makes us a target. Nung hindi siya nagamit dun sa album na anti-US bases, sinalvage ko, ginawa ko mas general environmental message. Pag nasira itong mundo, saan tayo?
When is the best time for you to write songs?
Walang best time eh. You make time. Make time. Ako ngayon, ang umaapaw sa akin, puro lyrics. Naghahabulan lagi ni lyrics, music. Minsan sabay. Pero ngayon, at this point of my life, it's puro lyrics. So yung music, I'm having to force myself to make time. Ito, gawin mo ito. But there's no formula. There's no formula na specific time. I like working in the morning.
What's easier for you, sir, to find the lyrics or find a particular melody?
Primary lyrics, kasi idea-driven ako eh. So may pagka-verbal yung aking beginning process. I see or experience something, maka-feel ako ng, that's not right. How can I help solve in the form of art? Yan na, lyrics na.
Describe your relationship with your children. Your children.
My children, relationship.
Huh.
It's very non-authoritarian. Medyo papaya ako. Sige nga, I know you're safe, go ahead. Hindi ko sila talaga itong gawin mo, itong gawin mo.
What is it like staying in Davao right now compared to your
It's a lot more congested now. Extremely congested. Kasi nung nandito ako sa Atenews de Davao, after class, pwede kang maghakot ng mga hindi mo kakilala, sakay mo sa jeep, daan kayo ng palengke, bili ng bibingka, punta ng Times Beach Linggo. Balik. Hindi mo na magawa ngayon yan. Unang-una, madumi na ang Times Beach. Diba? Dalawa, take you quite a while to get there and come back. So it's gotten bigger because it's gotten slower. It takes so much time to move from one place to another.
About moving from one place to another, so how do you differentiate Davao from other cities? How do you see that?
Well, compared to other cities, compared to Manila, mas komportable sa Davao. It's medyo human-sized pa. But when I went to Dumaguete, it reminds me of Davao in the 70s. So, because it's not as congested. Tapos bago lang pumunta ako ng Capiz, mas maganda, mas maluwang pa kaysa Dumaguete, mas gusto ko pa dito ngayon. So, relativity lang yan eh. Saan ka masanay kung anong makita.
Ateneo right now, sir, is still promoting social justice and the common good. And one of the things Ateneans struggle with is their studies and social issues. What can you say about that, sir?
Social issues are external issues. I think it's also important to balance awareness